You may have seen this BBC Master 128 before. It's the same one that I connected to the internet a while back. Before taking it online, I had to resolve a couple of well-known BBC Master issues, recapping the power supply, done off camera, and replacing the CMOS battery. I have a feeling that the battery might not work though, because these machines do have a CMOS battery, and I believe it was a lithium type battery, which was something quite advanced for 1986, but of course they go bad over time, and there's a very good chance that this has got the original battery in it. So what we'll do is we'll turn it on, see what happens. Yep, battery is cactus. Not a big deal, because I've got instructions on how to put a alkaline battery pack into a Master, so that's not that difficult, and I'll get to that in a moment. Something which is really helpful, as well as these instructions on how to make a battery pack, which is something I'll be attending to shortly, is the details on how to configure a Master 128 after the CMOS battery is let go. This is the prompt that you end up with as per the instructions. What I need to do is we need to do a reset. The first part of this whole palaver is to hold down the R key whilst turning the computer on. This resets the CMOS RAM. Press brake to continue, seems sensible. And you're left with that screen there. When you get to this stage, you need to hold down Control and D at the same time, and then press brake. Okay, now something really helpful from this documentation, which I will put a link to in the description by the way, this acts as like a really basic form of diagnostic. Apparently, if it doesn't get to this point, then there's another issue going on other than just a flat battery. So if you do find a Master 128 with a flat battery and you go through this process and it gets to this point where it says this is not a language, that is a very good sign. We're at the start prompt, which means that we're dealing at a slightly lower level than we would if we were loaded into the operating system. So as one might do when loaded into a BBC Micro, the operating system, they'd usually put the star before doing these sorts of ROM type commands. We don't need to do that bit, but what we do need to do is see which ROMs are in this machine. So we're going to type in ROMs. There's our ROMs. Prompt ST dot for status. That shows the configuration status of what is going on here. Now every time you want to use a Master 128 with a flat battery, you have to type in all this stuff. And now we want to do a control brake. So I don't know, I don't really feel like going through all that every time I want to crank this machine on, so I'm probably just going to make myself a battery pack. At Simples, all I need is a battery holder, a diode and a resistor, and away we go. It might also help if I clear off the bench, because I'm not going to be able to solder anything with this in the way. Depending on your particular BBC Master 128, there could be one of two different types of battery pack. There's either going to be a battery pack that looks like this, or there's going to be one that fits in this little recess here between the speaker and the slots, the expansion slots, such as this. And I know this is absolutely filthy, so this does need a clean, but that's another topic for another video. But yeah, you can see there, because this, they used to use like a battery which is a bit bigger than a standard AA battery, but it was a 4.5 volt lithium battery. Here's such a battery that I prepared earlier. So this type of battery would have gone in here like so. Of course, they haven't made these batteries in years. I actually fished that one out of my Macintosh Plus, and that's another thing to attend to at some stage. Actually, let's have a look at this. Because, to be honest, I'm not sure if that's what I think that is. Give me a sec. If that's what I think this is, and I've pretty much just wasted the last half an hour. Let's see. Bloody hell, the previous owner hasn't only just gone and done the same bloody mod. Yep, it's the same mod. God knows how long it's been like that for. That is the most revolting set of Duracells I've ever seen. That's left me with a couple of options here. Do I persevere with this? Or do I just clean this up and hope for the best? I'm actually thinking bugger it, I'll just clean this up and hope for the best. Even though this is ostensibly the same mod, it has well and truly leaked, and I think that's the other danger with this mod, is that whilst it's a very good mod, you got to make damn sure that you're on top of your battery situations. So you want to be checking them every 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Yeah, so I'll be doing that. I've done that with the other master that I've got. I check that every few months, and that's been fine so far, but again, that one was already modded. So that's the other thing too. Top tip, if you come across a master which has a flat battery, it may have already been modded, but the batteries might be completely shot. So just look very carefully. Yeah, interestingly, according to the instructions on how to do this, the instructions are very insistent that you use Duracell batteries, and I'm not sure why that is, because alkalines are alkalines, as far as I'm concerned. But for some reason the instructions call for Duracell, so obviously whoever did this stuck to the program, whereas I will not be using Duracells, I'll be using a different brand. I'm going to put it in a quick vinegar bath and give it a bit of a clean and see what happens. Of course, the vinegar will neutralise the acid, the battery acid as it were. Won't necessarily clean it, but it'll neutralise, which would be a big help. But there's a distinct possibility that we may just need to, we don't have the lovely 9-volt attachment on that battery pack, so what we may need to do is just patch that straight in. Not a big deal, but I want to try and clean this up first, just see if I can get this to work. I'm just morbid curiosity now. Although the thing to consider with this is that we won't know if it's worked until, well, I won't know tonight. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, you know how it is. That's when I do my best work. But yeah, we won't know until, say, a few hours time whether or not this is actually going to work. So yeah. Some of the corrosion's actually been dealt with, so let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like there's just a bit of residual corrosion in that terminal there. Is there any other end? Oh yeah, there's some in the other end too. So we'll take to that with a cotton bud and see what's what. We might just stand that in there for a bit longer, just to give it a bit more time to react. Okay, I've got a good result on this end. It looks like this side here is all just about clean, so that's a big bonus. It's not looking completely rancid. That's gone a bit blue. That's how you can tell it's working. Once the battery holder was cleaned out, I put in some brand new alkaline batteries, reinstalled the battery pack into the master, went through the configuration process mentioned about 6 minutes ago, and then I went to bed. I didn't film this bit because it's kind of boring, and I was completely shagged because 1:30 AM. Right, so it's now the next day. It's about 12 hours since I put the newly refreshed battery into this Master 128. If the battery holder still works, then we should go to the normal Acorn operating system prompt. If it doesn't work, then we're going to be back to square one with that this is not a language type thing going on. So let's see what happens. Cool. Until next time, see you later.